Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This reading is going to be for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign. This is your December monthly reading. It's a 9-card grid. I've obviously already laid the cards out. We'll get a numerology guidance card at the end. As always, if the reading resonates, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, donate if you feel so inclined, or of course you can book a personal reading. All the details to do all of those things are down below. So let's jump right in. The first card that you have coming up is the 10 of Cups. And I love the depiction of the 10 of Cups in this deck. We're using the Cosmic Tarot because, you know, it really sort of emphasizes for me that message of, you know, the amount of love that you experience in your external life, right? Obviously in romantic connections, but in any type of connection, as well as anything that you do, right? Love of life, love of work, your, you know, love of family and friends. It's all based upon how much you pour into yourself, right? And the amount of love that you show yourself. So I feel like you've been doing a lot of self-love and like a lot of healing work. I was feeling, especially while I was shuffling the cards for your reading. And for a lot of you, I do feel like this is also representative of perhaps, not all of you, but for some of you, I did feel this sense of sort of like extricating yourself from a connection. I apologize about the noise in the background. That's my dishwasher. So yeah, I feel like you may have sort of been in a connection with someone. It could have been pretty serious, commitment. You know, for some of you, it could have been marriage. You could have, you know, had a family with this person. But for a lot of you, I feel like, you know, maybe just the situation wasn't serving you anymore, and I am feeling this energy of perhaps of like moving on, okay? Because the next card that you have is actually your energy, the Chariot card coming up here, which we know can talk about, you know, literal movement, so travel or relocation perhaps for some of you. It feels like it's already happened. If not, you might sort of be like in the midst of it now. I don't really generally get a sense of it coming up, though of course that could be the case for some of you, right? We all move through energy differently, right? It depends on sort of where exactly you are in terms of the story. For others of you, it doesn't have to necessarily be talking about a literal move. It doesn't have to be talking about literal travel or relocation. It can be sort of a more figurative or metaphorical type of movement, right? But again, I'm seeing like this very sort of deeply profound healing and self-love energy around you that feels like it's sort of transforming you from the inside out. And the next card that you have is the 9 of Pentacles, right? Which is a single, stable, abundant energy. So again, for some of you, I am getting this energy perhaps of extricating yourself from a particular person or a situation. I am sort of vaguely getting this energy like of moving from a water energy to more of a fire or an earth energy. Okay. And so obviously for some of you that could be talking about, you know, people, right? It could be referring to another water sign, another Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, and moving towards earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, or fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. Again, doesn't have to be the case, but I am sort of seeing that energy, but it can also sort of be that more transformative kind of energy, right? Because as we know, Cancers as a water sign, and you guys kind of get like flack for this a lot too, of like sort of being, you know, in your emotions or overly emotional, which I don't really think is the thing, but I think it is about how you sort of, you know, wield your emotions, right? It's like the depth of feeling you want to maintain, but it's like, what do you then sort of do with that energy? How do you transform that energy? And I feel like for a lot of you, you're transforming it into this, again, this sort of that 9 of Pentacles, that very stable, solid, abundant type of energy. Very vaguely, I am picking up on like a possible pregnancy energy as well. Okay, so, and I filmed Scorpio like a little bit earlier today, and that came up vaguely in their reading too. Okay, and you guys do have like some overlaps here in terms of your reading. I'll talk about one card in particular a little bit later on, but just to note, obviously it could be you, could be someone around you, and that could also be where that fire and or earth energy is coming from as well. Perhaps there's someone who's expecting a child who will be one of those signs, one of those energies, right? Your next card is the 4 of Wands. So again, another indicator of like really moving into this place of stability and forward movement for yourself. You know, for a lot of you, again, this could have been about relocating homes. Maybe you just sort of feel much more comfortable, much more at home, much more at peace where you are, especially for those of you, like if you were sort of, if you shared a household with someone else and you moved on from that situation. For others of you, this could be talking about, again, changes happening sort of in terms of your work, right? And perhaps where your focus and your attention is going in terms of what you're working on. Because again, I just feel this uptick, not just in action, right? Which is what I'm seeing in terms of that fire energy, but again, in terms of like your overall sort of like contentment, which in turn leads to sort of this feeling of, again, like peace, calm, stability, clarity, feeling really centered and grounded. It feels really good. The next card that you have is the Five of Pentacles reversed. So this could be you, or again, it could be, keep in mind that energies can be people that we're connecting with as well. So with this Five of Pentacles reverse, I do feel like, especially if there was a situation in which, someone left a situation or left a person that, one or both parties, or everyone, however many parties are involved, may have sort of been feeling left out in the cold with that Five of Pentacles, right? And it could have also, like, your, monetary and financial stability may have taken a hit as well. Maybe there were expenses related to this separation, or expenses related to, relocation or traveling here, or, it could be that maybe you changed jobs and took some type of a pay cut, or, something along those lines happened. It could even be like an unexpected expense here with the Five of Pentacles. Now, notice that that's the only card that's coming up in the reverse in your reading. And I like seeing this card reverse because it's saying that situation is turning around, right? So again, even if it's just sort of energetically, you're coming out of sort of that feeling of feeling left out, perhaps feeling like on your own, like you didn't really have anyone to turn to help and to support you. Or, if it was like a more specific, like monetary or financial situation, that is turning around as well. Okay. And then the very next card you have is the Four of Pentacles, which, can speak to that stability and security, right? That sort of consolidation of assets and resources and sort of rebuilding a new foundation for yourself here. For a lot of you, again, I am getting that this is related to some sort of relocation or a job change. And you might have, because I am feeling like, just based off of this card, right? I'm really being drawn to this older gentleman in the card. And I feel like there might sort of be some sort of fatherly figure around you, or it could be like a boss or a mentor, maybe who has sort of helped, not necessarily financially, but again, someone who has sort of provided wealth, quote unquote, in your life, right? Be it through their presence, be it through their advice, their wisdom, something along those lines. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a man, right? Because remember that energy is non-gendered, but I am just picking up very strongly on like the masculine or a fatherly kind of figure. Okay. The next card down is I was just trying to like move the camera so you can see them better. The Princess of Cups here. So again, for some of you, okay, especially if you sort of went through a situation that involved a romantic partner, and especially if, again, there was a separation or, a move involved, even just energetically, right? It could be that, in fact, maybe you're still sharing a household, but, you're no longer, like, for all intents and purposes together. I do feel this sort of like really kind of holding back, this guarded energy in terms of your feelings and your heart space. And again, that's where I was kind of seeing that it's like your energy is transforming, right? Instead of sort of being led by your heart, I feel like you're more so being led by it's not necessarily your mind, because I'm not really seeing this juxtaposition between the heart and the head space, but it's more of like you have like fortified yourself to propel yourself forward. And again, it feels like a very sort of powerful, almost think of like the word empowerment, right? Whatever sort of work you've been doing internally. And for a lot of you, this could be sort of happening well beneath the surface, right? It may be that there's not necessarily, physical, tangible changes around you. Although obviously for those of you who may have moved or relocated, that's probably obviously the case, or changed jobs. But for some of you, again, it's much more energetic. Okay, so think of it in terms of that as well. The next card over that you have is the Princess of Wands, right? So again, that's sort of where I'm seeing that transformation from the Princess of Cups to the Princess of Wands. And again, it doesn't, like, it's almost like, you know, how we talk about sort of spiritual awakening or elevation. I'm not necessarily seeing a change sort of like horizontally. It's more of like, or rather vertically. Gosh, I'm like using weird ass math metaphors now. But yeah, it's like I'm not seeing a change vertically, right? How we might sort of talk about the 3D space versus the 5D space. Though that could be going on. But it's more so, it's like, again, it's like a change in sort of how you show up, how you are kind of like embodying your energy and the energy that you're projecting forward. It's almost like you're taking on sort of the qualities and characteristics of more of like a fire sign, or again, like an earth sign, like I said earlier. And of course, for some of you, you might have those energies prominently in your chart. So maybe that's coming into play right now. You know, obviously everyone's natal chart as it sort of compares to what's going on astrologically right now will be different. Okay. But for some of you, that might want to be something that you look into, especially if you're resonating with this message. And also, again, for some of you, I am seeing like this emphasis on perhaps a new fire energy entering your life. And again, keep in mind, for some of you, that could be related to a child. Okay. The final card that you have, which was the first card that came out in the Scorpio reading, is the Strength card, right? So the Strength always speaks to, you know, I sometimes hear that phrase, it's like you are stronger than you think you are, right? That and it reminds me of sort of that cliche of like, you know, the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe in will never give you anything more than you can handle, right? That you have that sort of reserve of deep inner strength that you can sort of always tap into. And I do feel like, again, like this is representative and indicative of this sort of transformation in terms of how your energy is coming off, you know, not just to yourself, but I feel like to other people as well. It's almost like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if for some of you, if other people sort of say to you like, wow, like you've changed. But you know, whether they're saying that in a positive way or a negative way, I'm reading it very positively. Obviously, you know, it will depend on your particular relationship with that person. But if you sort of hear that, I feel like that's the reason why, okay? Sorry, I was just, my dog is, I knew he was going to get into something. Anyway, okay, so just quickly looking at the top of the deck and the bottom of the deck, you have the 9 of Wands, right? So I do feel like, and I said this in the Scorpio reading too, it's like you have been through a lot, right? And I do feel like as water signs, like we tend to sort of really feel things a lot, right? And so whether there's just a lot going on around us, the people in our lives, or even if it's happening more so like on a global scale, right? Which obviously that's what's happening right now. I do feel like water signs are sort of more susceptible to feeling things, okay? And I do feel like you might have sort of this shield or this guard of protection around you. I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing. Again, focus more so on that 4 of Wands. How can you use that to sort of build up yourself and your own sort of, again, sense of security and stability and grounding, as opposed to, you know, because especially if you're like embodying a fire energy, right? Fire can be sort of reactionary and kind of destructive. Sorry about that. I don't even know who or what that is. And that's weird that it only rung one time. So just keep that in mind, right? This sort of balance. And with the Ace of Wands, again, this could be talking about a new offer or opportunity, or just someone or something new that is entering into your life here. That just seems to add like a lot of kind of like passionate energy, or I just feel this sort of very energizing force. And obviously babies, children can do that for families as well, but for some of you that's not the case. This could be, again, related to work or just sort of being in a new environment. All right, so let's get your numerology and then we'll close out the reading. I don't know what he's barking at. What happened, Zeus? Okay. What are the messages for Cancer, Spirit, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, Cancer? Hi, Papa. My dog gets very needy when I start recording. Okay, so the card you got is the number 9, completion. Notice that you have the 9 of Wands there as well. And again, it feels like a lot of like the more difficult events have already transpired. Okay, obviously, like, life is a constant series of ebbs and flows, but it just feels like you're going into a much more calm and stable period, which also Scorpios had that as well. So it says this card indicates a time of necessary endings and completion in preparation for new beginnings. By drawing this card, you are being encouraged to let go of the old to make way for the new. This may relate to a particular mindset, behavior, friendship, job, residence, or relationship you have outgrown, or it could indicate the completion of a karmic lesson, period of study, or contractual obligation. Either way, this card serves as confirmation that you must move forward with confidence and courage towards bigger and better things. Have no fear of the unknown, for you are being divinely accompanied and guided. This card serves as confirmation that you are definitely on the right path. So surrender yourself to the changes that are occurring, and you'll be led where you need to be. Spend quiet time alone to connect with your inner guidance, for in the silence, you will be given the next logical step to take. The affirmation here: it is safe to surrender to the magical future that awaits you. Cancers, one last thing I just want to mention for those of you who know your natal charts and who have Sagittarius, I want you to pay attention to the new moon that we have coming up, I believe on December the 14th. And I also believe that there's an eclipse associated with that. Okay, so that's as much as I'm going to say. I'm not an astrologer, but for some reason while I was reading that thought came to me. So I just had to share that. Cancers, as always, I do hope that the reading resonates and that it helps. If it does, again, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to donate to support this work in this channel, that's always greatly appreciated. Thank you to everyone who has donated, to everyone who has subscribed, who shares this content. I super appreciate all of your support and love. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, again, you can do so through my website, or feel free to reach out to me directly on any of my social media channels. The links are all down below. And finally, I do have a newsletter that you can subscribe to. If you do subscribe, you'll get a discount for your birthday if you'd like to book a personal reading. So all that good stuff down below. Again, Cancers, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. The mid-month readings are going to be year ahead card spreads for 2021. If you want to go back and look at the one from this year, there's a playlist from January, I believe, where you can see and see how and if that reading resonated. And again, I'll be doing those for the general readings later this month, or you can also book that style of reading for yourself personally. All right, any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm pretty open. So thank you again so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Bye.